V'chein omer Rebbeinu Tam, over there, Tosfos Shabbos, and hey, I'm an Aleph, the Remaske, Shmuel, right, it's the same thing. The Schus Avos Tama, the Schus Avos, right, the merits of the forefathers can be used up. They can come to a conclusion, they can come to an end. Although Bris Avos Lo Tama, but not the covenant made with the Avos, with the forefathers, that can't be canceled out, that can't be negated in any way. V'chein hu mefurish b'Torah b'sov klalos the Torah's Kohanim, like what it says at the end of Parashas Pechukosai, where it's talking about the blessings and the curses in Torah's Kohanim. Vav gam zois, right, in that passage over there, lo me'astim v'lo galsim klosam haver brisi atem ki ani Hashem Elokechem, right, as it says over there, in spite of all the bad that the Jewish people can do, in spite of all the rejection that we can muster up from Shemaim towards us because we've acted in ways that for sure are not the way of our forefathers, the way Hashem expects from us, in spite of the fact that we become disgusting in the eyes of Hashem, which we certainly have done and certainly can do. You see how Jews can actually behave and how they can actually live and the Chil Hashem that can be created in the end, right? So he says, the Torah says, even still, in spite of all that, you will not become so disgusting to me, Hashem says, that I will reject you, or at least reject the bris completely at all, right? Completely and not at all, right? V'arei mufurash havtacha ala bris Yisrael shelo tofri afilu bechet avodah zarah. And we learn from that the bris, the covenant made with the forefathers, can never be canceled out, will never be canceled out by Hashem, even if we do the worst avera, chas v'chalila, of avodah zarah, rachman l'slan, k'moshe meforish sham beparashas al pikuk lechem, v'oisa habris hinehu gam l'cho yachid v'yachid Yisrael, right? And this bris was not only made with the nation as a whole, it's made with every individual Jew, he says, right? Or befrat, like on a personal basis. K'moshe yasav agra, like the Gra writes in Parashat Nitzavim, the sword bris avos Yisrael be'arnu becoming makamas, and the sword of bris avos, which we have explained in many places, he says, right? Who bataf reish chov amudei nesivus or hanizka betfilas rebedechunya benakana, right? Masechtos Atzilus. Now we're getting to Kabbalah here. That the sword of the bris is by literally what's called the 620 pillars and passive light. Really goes out all the way up to the sphere of Kesser, the top of the system. I mean, we're talking way up, way before physical creation exists, way before even the souls are created at this point in time. It's another way to say that the point of Ma'aseh Bereshis was bris avos, and bris avos is rooted at the very, 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 very top of the entire system, spiritually speaking. Beheim, the chivata the arach ampin, and that's the white hair of arach ampin corresponds to the sphere of Kesser. Arach ampin means, we're talking about the Yud Gimel Rachamim is also in the same level. Anybody who says the Yud Gimel Midas Rachamim, the 13 Midos, which we say on Yom Kippur and on fast days, and Sephardim actually say every single day that there's Tachanun, that they never come back empty, because it's pure Rachamim, pure mercy and kindness from the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Ha'meirim mechach b'sad ilas tim'a avir de lo ispas reisha de ein de ayin, right? And again, this is all Kabbalistic terminology, but it just means basically that bris avos is not just some agreement made here in history at some point in time, that when the Kodesh Baruch Hu made the bris with Avraham and bris ben Basarim, and he continued on with ratified it again with Yitzchak and Yaakov and the Jewish people later on in the Midbar as well, that it's like drawing light down the very upper limits of creation, and Kabbalistically creation goes way beyond the physical world. The story of Ma'aseh Bereshis is a movie in the middle. It's a work in progress. When we talk about Ma'aseh Bereshis, is already well down the road of the production of Ma'aseh Bereshis, the creation, but the actual process of creation began long before that. And that's where bris avos comes from, way at the top, the level of ayin, which is extremely high up. V'shamu sod v'sharish hakol, and that's the sod and the root of everything. L'chein, therefore, Amru, Bereshis, right? It says Bereshis, B'Shul Yisrael, Shnikra Reshis. As Rashi points out, the word Bereshis means Bereshis, for the sake of Reshis, meaning for the sake of Yisrael, Shnikra Reshis, because the Jewish people are called Reshis. But first, V'Amru Bereshis Rabbah, Perik Aleph, Siman Daled, Machshavasam Yisrael, Kadn L'Kol Davar, that the machshava of the Jewish people, the thought of the Jewish people, came before everything. Ki hein toluim umushashrim, because their thoughts and their existence really is rooted up in the 620 Amudi Or, which actually corresponds to the Taryag mitzvot, the 613 mitzvahs plus the 7 mitzvahs of the Rabbanim, 620 altogether. That's the shorsh of all that, right? Or shehu shorsh gam l'kol etzilus, which is the root of the world of Atzilus, a very high level of spiritual consciousness that is, in a sense, acts as the computer program for all of creation and history as we know it. And this is so high up, this level of existence, that our actions can't affect it, because it's so spiritually refined, it's so sublime, that our actions, God forbid, if we could reach that level, could cause phenomenal destruction. Terrible destruction, God forbid. So therefore, our actions cannot reach that high, cannot have an effect on this level at all. And that is the place, that is the sod, the basis of the bris, made with the forefathers and of the Jewish people. And that can't change. That reality is so high up, so spiritual, so sublime, so perfect already, it can't be impacted. It can't be changed, not for good, not for bad in the end. So Mabah. V'zeu Shem Ruba Sanhedrin to the Ches Amud Aleph, and that's what the Gemara says in Sanhedrin 98a. Ein bein David ba ele bador shekula zakai or bador shekula chayev, and that's what it says. And Mashiach is not going to come except in a generation that either is totally merit worthy or totally unmerit worthy. They're chayav. They're not zoicha. They don't merit the gula in a big way. They don't merit the gula at all. Va'ayin ba'gra, the tikkunim over there. Vadai oiven hashem. The Gra says, he writes, it's going to happen the second way. They were not going to be zoicha, but rather kulu chayav. It'll be Mashiach will come in a generation that's completely unworthy of his coming. K'mosh Yosavner is to kel man inun dekaiman. Verlosh dekach zakai. Explains a few things over here. Now, inu kulu chayiv in a rasham gemur chas v'sham. He just adds parenthetically that when it says kulu chayiv, the generation is completely obligated, does not mean that they're completely evil. Chas v'sham, God forbid. Ki zeh yivshar. It's not possible for a generation to be completely evil. Ella roiva avonis nikra chayiv. Rather, that if a person is the majority as we learned in Rosh Hashanah, a person has more averas and mitzvahs, even by one, that's called chayiv already. This is in Rosh Hashanah, he says over here, lanu. So we have from this we see, the Yemas Mashiach einu telui b'schusim maisim klal. He reiterates this point several times elsewhere as well. That Yemas Mashiach is not something that depends upon our merit or demerits. We can certainly bring it early, Achishana, we could do that 100%, but it's going to come regardless. And as we can't do anything, Chas v'chalil, no matter how bad we get, we can't stop Yemas Mashiach from coming at some point in time. V'chein Shabbos Sanhedrin, likewise in the Gemara in Sanhedrin on so design so on the base, but pulled to Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Yeshua, some machlokas in the Gemara on the backside of the page over there, where it says Rabbi Yeshua, chinam nichartem v'lo bekesef tigalu. Right, for free you were sold, they were sold, and not for money will they be redeemed. Lo b'tshuva u'maisim tovim, not through tshuva u'maisim tovim. Right, the Gemara says that it won't depend upon tshuva or maisim tovim. Your schar l'mhabah is a different story. Right, this is not a patur. I have to do mitzvahs, chas v'chalila, but rather that the geula doesn't depend upon our merits or demerits, but what happens to you personally in the world to come is completely dependent upon your merits or demerits.